Hey guys, I'm lead GenAI engineer, and recently I interviewed over 25 people for internship and junior AI positions, and I checked hundreds of CVs, and I got asked how to perform well or interview by friends and so on. And I keep seeing the exact same mistakes happening over and over again. I used to spend hundreds of euro on mentors, how to get interview, how to write good CV, and so on back in the day. But today I want to give you this knowledge for free. Here is exactly what gets you rejected and what actually gets you hired in AI right now. And it's quite challenging. Let's get into it. We are starting with CVs, because that's where most people get eliminated before even saying a word. Fewer candidates to review means the job is easier for me because I don't need to check every CV. So a bad CV is a wall of random university projects with no description and no results. Here is what kills most of applications. A huge unstructured list with no context. I saw like CVs with 5-10 pages with random projects without any numbers and just names. Like this don't mean anything. No numbers. What you actually achieve. Can you give me some metric? Generic lines like I wrote and developed a new and well-tested code for software projects. I've literally seen copy-pasted this in a CV twice, and it covered like 6 years of software engineering. Or using some weird Comic Sans fonts and having it not well structured and so on. Here is what makes the CV stand out. First, use good template like Harvard, MIT technical templates, or you can look at Overleaf. Even Europass works if you don't have any idea. I will attach some in the description. You can have a quantified results. Maybe you reduced inference. Maybe you build pipeline for 10K requests daily. You can attach QR code. I saw example when somebody attached QR code to their website and portfolio. It's quite unique and make people, excited to check if it works and so on. If you don't have any other idea, you can have motivational letter with a project attached. You can put some extra effort, attach some visualization and so on. Also, hobby actually is quite important because, for example, if the interviewer shares the same hobby with you, you have the same common connection ground that you can focus on. And if you don't have industry experience, build something. Take university project and extend it into something that is usable as a real product. You can draw small architecture diagram to explain, to show results, what was the result before and after you upgrade it. You can make it more visualized, so it's quick to understand. That's how you can get a leverage over basic CV that only have, I finished university and I do these projects for my courses. And I have thesis too. Like, guess what? 3,000 other applicants also have the same thing. So you need to be different. Now, another part before we even start the interview, please check your basic tech setup. Before you join the call, test your audio and microphone at least for 10 minutes. Are your headphones charged? Is your camera angle decent? What's showing in your background? I have candidates show up with a bad audio, with squishing microphone, dark rooms, sometimes dirty clothes in the background, or they were sharing me a screen and I see some interesting websites saved there, or some were quite funny topics to read about during the interview. So please, before the interview even starts, test everything. And it happens to everybody. For example, for me, my 2 headphones died before interview. I was checking everything 1 hour before and then 5 minutes before interview, and I couldn't fix it. So I was on interview with just 1 headphone working. So yeah, that's why I say do it 10 minutes before, so you have this 5 minutes to spare and no stress. Now, another mistake, and actually the first question that you get asked, how are you? Sounds harmless, yeah? Like you can just basically explain, I'm good, thanks. But what it tests if you are positive headspace, because if you start complaining about something, if you will speak like kind of improperly and so on about what happens during the day, and you will not ask back, that shows that you will not be as good to work with and happy to be around with, Now, this is really big red flag, and it basically discards your interview immediately most of the time, and I see it happening over again. So if somebody asks you about your previous experience and you say, my colleagues were dumb, these people were idiot, the manager don't know anything what he's talking about, that basically tell us that you will be hard to manage, you will not communicate well with the team, you will create conflict, and it's a hard pass for an interviewer. If the interviewer is polite, he will stay like 15 minutes with you to look polite, that everything goes well and so on, but it's basically hard pass for them. It's your CV is immediately thrown into garbage. Now, mistake number 4. Why did you apply to us? If you have no idea what the company does, it's instant discard. It's easy, it's done, less people to look for, because this is completely avoidable. Just prepare 15 minutes, look what the company does, what technologies they use, what projects they do. Maybe you can do short overview of how you would do this project yourself, and then you can mention it on the interview. It's super easy, guys. Like really, just check you can use AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, just do search over the company, what they do, what they focus on. That's it. Mistake number 5, claiming experience you don't have. I typically ask candidates what area of AI they are most interested in, and they confidently pick something, and then I ask them following questions like what projects you do, what are the issues, what you use. And I saw some applicants basically panicking and shattering because they said what sounded good, not what they actually know. And quick note here, we even have people who like fake connection, that they lose it, and they send us email that like, oh, there was bad connection, internet, blah blah blah, and somehow they couldn't come in like 3 hours or half a day or day, and then they sent answer to some questions that they chat GPT or Google, and then it's wrong. Which, like, really, guys, if you don't know something, don't say you know it. Be honest about it. If I ask you for GenAI position, if you even run some GenAI model locally, if you know what's Hugging Face and you don't know what is it, Hugging Face for AI, it's like GitHub for programmers, then it's easy discard. Don't apply if you don't know anything about role. You can basically ask ChatGPT or any AI to, I'm preparing for this role, what I should know, and just read through it for a few minutes. Easy. Mistake number 6, being difficult to deal with. You are not getting hired only for your skills. You are getting hired to work well with the existing team in a company. So basically, if you are too arrogant, you act like you know everything, you are not open to learn, that's a red flag. If you have no ownership, if you get asked about some mistakes and you say you never do mistakes, or it was not your fault because data was bad, project manager didn't tell you something, that shows that you are not open basically to ownership. What you should say is that, for example, you should ask a manager earlier, but you realize it and you fix it in the project, yeah? Or being inflexible. If you insist on perfect solution, even though the constraints don't allow you to do it, that's also a red flag because you will not deliver projects on time. So if you get hired, I feel like what really people expect from you is like you do your job with minimal supervision and you will have good communication with a team and you will be like, that's it. Now, what good candidates do? They ask me questions before I ask them. They want to know what tech stacks we use, what are the tools, what are the common challenges in a job. Even if you don't get a job, you will get important information what's used in the industry and you will get something useful. If you get asked some question and you don't know the answer, you can just pause for a moment before answering. You will show us that you handle the situation well and distress. You show passion with proof. If you have some side projects, Kaggle challenges, hackathons, and everything, you can show that you go over what other people do because everybody have the same kind of degree, experiences, projects, and so on. And if you get asked about something you don't know, be a bit honest about the gaps or ask for clarification. The person will try to help you so you understand it and you can partially answer it even if you don't know it. You also need to concisely communicate under the pressure. So you need to provide structured answers and so on. Because, for example, if you need to speak in English and the interviewer can't understand what you are talking about most of the time, or you stutter, or your microphone quality is bad, they will think you could not communicate with a team at all. And also, if you attach like GitHub repos and so on, check that they actually work, check that documentation is well, the README is visible. And this is something that I'm guilty myself because typically we finish some project, we just want to bang ChatGPT, README there, don't test it, and move on the other project. So that's not the way. And also ask the smart questions about the role. Things like, what will be my first project? What an ideal candidate looks like? What I should achieve in first 5 months of the job? So the company is happy about me. What's the onboarding process? This shows that you are already thinking about how to succeed in the role, not just how to get it. Now, if you apply for some role, and I mentioned it earlier, just do short technical preparation. If you're supposed to work in cloud, check what the cloud offer, what Azure services are named, what's AWS name of the services. If there is specific project in mind, you can basically ask ChatGPT to make quick MVP of it, so you go through it. If you get asked about something in AI, let's say GenAI position, and you don't know Hugging Face, like I mentioned before, yeah, that's a big red flag. Sorry. And also, if the company works on something like, let's say, local inference, they do model training, then you need to know what is PyTorch, model training, optimizations, what are the techniques, the state of the art kind of how to do things, yeah, because that's what you need to cover. So yeah, cover these bases. Now, how to actually find a job? Well, most people scroll through LinkedIn, use Easy Apply, and that's it. And that's a mistake because you will be applying with hundreds of people or even few hundreds that do the same thing. Why? Because it's easy. So we are competing with hundreds. So now what you should do, instead of using Easy Apply and so on, make a post about what you are doing so you have some proof that you are actively developing. Add something on your GitHub. You can add skills and certification to some roles. Maybe you do some cool project at university. You can add these skills because the recruiters have software that basically look for specific name of skills in a profile so they could find you themselves. Contribute to company open source. Many companies basically mention that if you contribute to open source, this is like extra point. And also you can think like outside the box. You can find the hiring manager, send their CV, say that you like this about company, that this project aligns with what you want to do, or the company policy is exactly what you want to do because you want to, for example, support energy efficiency and so on. And also what I do back in the day is that I look at startups that, for example, get big funding or like are most performing in specific domain like AI, NLP, and so on. And then when I find this list, I just go through their website. If they have job offer, it's typically not on LinkedIn because they don't have as many resources. So you can directly apply to this and you will only compete with like 50 or 10 people. So that's really easy way to apply, because think about it. Some startups, they need to grow fast. So at some point they get projects and they need to hire somebody like really fast. So what they need to do, they need to find the perfect candidate. And if you apply just when they get like funding on the big project and so on, that's like insta hire, and it's less job for them that they don't have specific person for to. So yeah, do it. Also, what I notice is that all the graduates go on job fairs and so on, and I go on job fairs myself. And I go on job fair, I find all the companies, I have lists, I apply, and then what? They say me the job is already taken. So yeah, what I do instead, I think out of the box. I find all job fairs. I have a list of this, and this was before ChatGPT and all other stuff. And I apply for the roles that I find on their website before even the job fair. So then when I go to job fair, of course you can get free goodies. I go to the company that I was interested in, and I ask them some questions. I tell them, oh, my CV is already there, and I saw you do this. I do small projects like this. You can even do small demo or show something on your laptop, so you will be remembered. And you can leave your CV also if you print it, so there is higher chance that they will call you back. And one more thing, because we talk about AI engineering. So if you look for a job as an AI engineer and you want to find perfect job, maybe write a scraper, go through offers in your country and so on that you are interested about. You can put it all through ChatGPT, make a project out of it, Google API, cloud, whatever, and you can scrape to find perfect job opportunities for your expertise and what you want to do. Yeah, sky is the limit. Use your skills. So yeah, guys, the job market is competitive now in AI space, and in software frontend, it's, I think, even worse. So you need to distinguish yourself, because everybody wants to do AI, this thing, and there is too many people that wants to do that, and the universities is a bit outdated with most of the knowledge that they share you. So you need to try to think outside the box. Yeah, if you do these Kaggle challenges, you do hackathon and so on, you do some courses that are super common in the industry, then that means you put some extra effort, because at the end I get, for example, CVs like 50 or something, and I need to basically quickly look through them, because we don't use software, but most people will use probably software, so there's even less chance that somebody will look into it. And then we just discard what we don't like. Yeah, we leave some people for first interview, and then after this we have like 3-4 people. Yeah, because it's really takes a lot of time, and that's it. So yeah, try to go outside the box. Don't just use easy apply. You can always use it, but there is less chance of return on it. So yeah, if you like this type of content, like and subscribe, and tell me what surprised you the most. I will be quite interested about it. And if you are interested about local inference, check my other videos. See ya!